All right, y'all. So something just came to me, and I really just wanted to make this video. Something came to me to make this video. I got a little sister that's about to graduate from college. I have some cousins that are also, they just graduated from college, or they're also going, to their last year of college. And I thought that, this might be helpful information from somebody who had the 4-year college experience and, still spending all that time finding himself, just a couple of little tips that I learned along the way, whether it was like my last year or, right after. It's just a couple of things that, I will want to tell my 22-year-old self, before he heads into this new realm of his life. And maybe, different things could have been different, but everything happens how it's supposed to. So I guess the best thing for me to do is just pass this on to the next generation. So number one, social life is not done, but it will get harder. You have to put more effort into it. People are going to be scattered out. People are going to be focused on their careers. They're going to be wanting to do things that they never done before. And sometimes, us chasing what we really, really want to do can separate us from the people we love the most, at least for a little bit. It may not always be for a long time, right? Those are people you spend 4 years of your life with in college. And they also want a career too. And sometimes their career takes them in different places. So it does get harder, but it does take effort. You have to, number one, make sure that you, if you want to keep that connection, you keep that connection, whether it's through a text call, seeing each other at least once a year. That's very important because things can fall off really fast, especially as you start to level up, do different things in your career. And they start to level up and do different things in their career. If that relationship is really important to you, you have to make sure that you put in the needed effort. Because if the needed effort is not put in, you will not get anything out of it. That's just something that I learned, who's still I feel like struggling to always find, I guess, new friends, as I guess. Because it is much harder now. You always got your old friends that they know a lot about you, you know a lot about them, but you have to put more effort into keeping the relationships you have and getting new relationships. And if you're doing the right things and things that you love, a lot of those people will form around you and you can find those people. Number two, stay home, stack your bread. I put all this stuff on a little note card so I can remember it. Stay home, stack your bread. Go home with your parents if you can go home with your parents. If you have parents to go back home too, I'm telling you. Or get you some friends, room together for a little bit. Especially if y'all got similar things that you might want to do. Definitely. I stayed at home with my parents, saved thousands of dollars. Telling you, they save thousands. And you want to make sure you get that head start for sure, because shit out here is expensive. It's really expensive, and depending on where you stay at, your best bet might be just to live with your parents. Shit, and I wouldn't even give it an age. I would just say until you feel like you're ready to make that step and move, or if an opportunity comes up, then that's where you make that move. But you gotta try the best you can to get that head start, no matter what that may be. I, for one, like I said, I live at home, but I also had a roommate, after, which also saved me a lot of money as well because the bills were split. Number three, follow fun and what you love. In your last year of college and your first year of post grad, I would say, of being a graduate, things might start to fall off of the things that you love, just because you got this thing that you chase so much, and that this thing you chase so much is like your career. I expect everybody that's graduating to be career driven anyway. You're not going to just spend that money or go there or waste your time, but yeah, you got to follow what you love. Your hobbies will fall off. This is really quick. This one was really quick because this is obvious. Your hobbies will start to fall off more than likely, if you don't keep fine tuning them and keep just growing through those things. That's the main thing that you got to start making sure that you do. What other one? Oh yeah, travel. Number 4, travel. Make sure your ass travel some. It does not have to be a $5,000 trip. You can go to the beach. If your state got beaches, if your state got mountains, if your state got a park, go take a walk. I'm telling you, it'll do wonders for you. As far as your mind goes, how I do things is once every quarter, I'm taking a trip. Once every quarter. Or to make it even easier, give you some wiggle room, once every season. You need to go on some type of vacation or trip, or even if it's just a weekend trip, because we get into that grind and we start working and we start going hard and continue to go hard. Our brains need rest too. It's not just our bodies, our brain need rest too. So whatever you do, you cannot forget to take your break when needed. I'm telling you, it'll do wonders for you mentally, physically. People around you, your family will notice. It's very vibrant. Somebody that travels and they experience different things. There's studies out there that show that traveling is really good for you. So just make sure you do it. Like I said, it don't got to be to a different country. It don't have to be, across the world or anything. Those things will come. You got to learn to enjoy the process as you go. Then you start leveling up. You level up on different levels. And with traveling, you can level up by starting. You have to start with something to level up. Okay. Now, the fifth one, my fifth tip or tidbit that I want to say is your first job is more than likely going to be your worst. Whatever that may be, especially if after you graduating from college, your first job is probably going to be your worst. Because number one, you basically starting out. Then they going to have to retrain you anyway. So everything that you really learn from college, unless you're going to medical school or something like that right away, everything you learn from college, they going to reprogram you. So it's all a system. You're going to get, you giving that money. But the biggest part about college, or the best part about college, is that social club that you in. But I'm getting off track. But like I said, your first job is more than likely going to be your worst job. Things get better, and like I said before, you have to enjoy the process. You have to start at something to eventually level up at it. So struggle is real, but when you first start out, but you start to figure it out. You start to really figure it out after a little while. And then you start to figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Especially when your first job. I'll say my first job out of college, I was working at the UPS store. Yeah, $9 an hour. That was my first full-time job out. It was $9 an hour. I was trying to milk them and get them to say 13, but they stood at 9. I'm like, $9 an hour is not. But luckily, like I said before, I was staying at home, so I still was saving a lot of money, making $9 an hour at that time, and working those 40-hour weeks and getting overtime and things like that. But that job sucked. It taught me a lot for the 3 months that I was there. It taught me a lot, but it definitely sucked being there. I will say that, and I wouldn't want to do that again. But life has its peaks and valleys. There's peaks and valleys to it. And the bonus one, I'll say, which just should have been first, could have also been first. But you have to keep God first. You have to keep God first. You have to have faith and believe through anything. Like whatever your relationship is with God, that's your relationship with him. Nobody else got that same relationship. Always remember that. So no matter what it is, if you somebody that go to church 3 times a week, or they go to, say for example, they go to church 3 times a week, but you rather not, you know, and you still read your word, you still stay in the things you believe in God, you have your faith, that's your relationship. Don't ever let nobody tell you that your relationship with God needs to be better or whatever. The only person that you are, the only person or your only source should be God, basically, just to keep it simple. But yeah, I thank y'all for tuning in. Might be dropping more vids like this. I think this was a good one. But yeah, y'all be blessed, man. It's a crazy world. But you stay level-headed, know what you want to do, you'll be good. Peace.